Drizzle on the window, coffee in my hand. Morning starts so slowly in our sleepy land. Raindrops keep on dancing, rhythm soft and slow. Warmth inside this cafe.
So I have 1 year to make my crochet business a success. A bit dramatic, but I am on a deadline. Let me explain. That deadline being I have 1 year left of college. I study online, which has allowed me to manage my time. I've been able to continue my freelance illustrating work. I work on picture books with indie authors. And I've been running my Etsy shop for a few years now with physical products. And this past year, I've really dove into creating patterns. And I've been able to manage all this within my time because I've been able to study online. Now, in a year, I'm going to need to actually get a job. And I can't count on having the time or energy like I do now, which even now is in a delicate balance, I might say. But again, I am able to have it because I've been able to achieve it through managing my own time on my own terms. And this realization is partly why I switched my focus in my business from products to really digging into creating patterns. It is half part, the reason is partly due to the economy has really hit my business with people not buying cutesy items as much, and it just really had kind of impacted. College students don't have the money they used to. Everyone's kind of worried and pinching their pennies watching it, as well as things are just getting more expensive overall. So I have a hard time encouraging people to buy my products, which are more of a luxury product, a cute bag, a cute hat, things like that. And so going and the DIY thing has really been coming up partly due to that. So I've seen a shift in focus that a lot of people are making their own clothes. They've been switching to picking up hobbies, picking up crafts and things of that sort. So I think there's been a real good shift in that. And that informed part of my decision to shift into focusing on creating patterns. And the other half of my reason for this switch is due to I need to build something that is going to, at some point, be something I can maintain a little more passively than actively needing to make, market, ship physical products as I work a full-time or part-time job. Now, while I've seen women able to scale their patterns and other digital products to make a full-time income, I am not putting my eggs in that basket and counting on it being able to do that by the end of this year. I do intend to keep it going as much as I can. I really emphasizing that this is something I do not want to drop. Hence why I am dedicating this year to building it to a point that I can maintain and still slowly build up. I do intend to be realistic in my projection of where I'm going to be. So I'm not counting on that this can be scaled to be a full-time business within a year, but that I can get it to a point that I can maintain it from after this point of year when I graduate. Hence the deadline of 1 year. Starting this year, I really threw myself into my work harder than ever. Before, I treated it as a hobby and then as a small side hustle where I would allow other things to take precedence. School took precedence, my health took precedence, recovery and things of that sort, and it was needed at that time. But now I am treating it as my full-time job. Now, I don't work on it when I have spare time. I don't work on it when I have some extra energy or when I feel like it. It is scheduled, and it is scheduled alongside my schoolwork. I wake up and I know the things on my list I need to work on, and I kind of really hit the ground running, at least as far as that concerns me. And this is why I released so many patterns this summer. I was really grinding to build up a catalog of patterns that were of good quality. I had them go through the testing process. I refined them, and I really worked to build up a collection, several collections that reflected my brand. I was asked, how do I make so many one after another? And full collections, I was releasing several at a time as full collections. But reason being is I was really working constantly at them. And part of the strategy was also that these collections build on similar components, but were changed out to reflect different themes. So while they're not, copies of each other, I utilize similar elements, like the structure, but I was switching out pieces. I switched out the kind of sleeves that I wanted for this design. And so, yes, if you are like me and you can look at a picture and kind of figure something out, you don't really need another pattern once you know the base of one of the other ones, and that's fine. But for those who like to have the pattern ready, or I do have some that I've been really working on YouTube as well. I've been uploading tutorials or sections of the patterns up on YouTube, so it is something you can learn for yourself. But part of the strategy was to simplify that building of my patterns, and that I could utilize previous ones to work on that. And then, of course, I always have these other side quests. Okay, so something I wanted to run by you all for some feedback. So last night I did some sketching based off of the Instagrammer I like, if that'll focus, Halfling Crochet, and she does these whimsical crochet patterns. And here you see she has her crochet little mushroom hat, she has her little cape, and then she has this massive staff of a crochet hook, which I would think is so awesome, and I want to make myself one someday. And then she attached this massive granny square to it, which is also fun. So I'm like, I kept seeing her, I was like, I need to draw that. That's like, I've had something of an image like that before in my mind, and I was like, I need to draw that. I want to do an official version, but this is kind of something I did last night to get out of my system. And then as I kind of kept going, it did put me in the mood of some ideas I had had before. And so it was kind of leaning like if you did a little fairy or magical girl with a big hook. But due to kind of her aesthetic being more fantasy-esque, I was thinking, oh, what if I did like a hero's party of sorts, and they are fiber arts based. And so for now, I'm mostly thinking, what kind of crochet options could I do, especially if I do a massive hook. So it's like a staff here. She would be like a priestess or a healer or something of that sort. And so kind of elements that would make also, like she has a little granny square, maybe bands. I would make this look like it's worked up, crocheted. Also her, just little elements, chains around her boots. And here I was just doing some poses that I'll probably work on more tonight, flesh out into some ideas. Here was a little more, magic girl idea, but I like more the idea of it being a hero party of sorts and being really epic with it, and maybe doing different genres later. Like I was thinking it would be fun to make them a little more futuristic and maybe like cyberpunk. That would also be really cool and a little outside of my comfort zone, but something fun to play with. But I was curious if this is something, if I made these into coloring pages, would you guys be interested in that? And I would probably offer a few of them free, and maybe offer a bundle on my Etsy. And I think that'd be fun to see people do that. And of course, maybe I could do commissions for people to make themselves into, little crochet fighters or wizards or things of that sort. So let me know. I'm kind of just playing with the idea for now. So yeah, ideas like that. I want to really build other digital products that I can offer, or things surrounding my business, not just the patterns. The patterns are one side, and I want to compile them into the collections into a book and ebook form. And of course, being myself, I feel like, well, I need to add some illustrations to that to add extra value. Other than, since the patterns themselves are available online, what could I add that would be extra value? So there would be a little bit more lore or story element to the collections within the book. So that's one idea. Then there's the coloring page idea. And then, of course, I have my YouTube, which I'm trying to build up the brand and kind of growing my community there who know this vibe, who enjoy this quieter, cozier, nostalgic vibe that we kind of all are crafting ourselves together. So I like building that up. So all these kind of things. And I'm going to be working on a picture book of crochet, picture book and storybook. And so, which would be a collection of stories. So I don't know if I'm going to, within the year, be able to do more than one. I think I'll be lucky if I squeeze two out of myself with everything else I have going on. Because through this all, I have still my book commitments. I'm still illustrating a picture book for one of my authors that I've worked with for several years now. And I need to commit to finishing that, or if I pick up other projects, it's a bit of extra income, and it's something to still, I have the desire to still illustrate picture books, and that's another angle that I will be still want to do long term. And then, of course, I have the schoolwork, which is full time. So I am staying on top of that. I am in college. I am a psychology major. So that is going on. And then, of course, I am working on my health. I have been recovering from depression and eating disorder. I have been working on regaining my weight. I have been reworking on my mental health. And then, of course, I have my relationships and everything else to do with that. So, all in all, it is quite a lot that I need to get done this year. And I am trying to be realistic with myself. And don't think I'm working myself like a horse. It is more paced. I know myself by now, and I know how I work, and I know what works for me. And I do honestly, just when it's creative work, I love doing it. And while I have this spark, and while I have all these ideas to put out before I think a job will really dampen my energy mode, if the past is anything to has any reflection on that, I do get quite drained when I actually am working at a full job. So we will see how that goes. But I really don't know what the future holds in that regard. So this year is my last year of full control for now. I really aim to become independent, become someone who works from home on my own terms, on my own projects. That is the goal, that I want to craft a life and space that is my own, and that reflects all these values and things that I love, and to live the way I want to live. So, of course, that is the ultimate goal, but I may need to grind for a little bit to get to that point. So over the course of this vlog, you can see that during the day I do work on my school, I do work on my picture illustrating, like you see here. I work traditionally, and then I'm always also trying to build up my skills in that regard, that I don't want to neglect that. And then, of course, the business side of it for the crochet. And then I need to stay on top of the social media, my community, and I do enjoy it all. But just to really emphasize that this is my year to try to make this happen. This is a year of really fully committing and treating it like a full-time job. No nonsense, no, fuffing around, none of that. I really need to stay focused and dedicated while balancing all the aspects that I need to for my life. So that is the challenge, that is the goal, that is the quest. So, yes. So I think that kind of is covering that aspect of it, and the statement I made at the beginning of this video. And so, again, the reality of it, we will see how that goes over. And I will try to be documenting that, because I would like that for myself as well as for you. I would really like to bring you in, because I find the more feedback I get from my community has really fueled and directed me towards what would really build up this cozy, safe place that I am trying to build. And when I'm getting the feedback from people, either that I'm doing something right or what they would like to see, that helps direct me and fuels me. I get a lot of dopamine from the community. I am an introvert, and you will see I'm constantly at my desk, in my room, working. And while I like that, I do find I enjoy interacting with like-minded people, or people who are passionate about similar things as myself. So the community, especially this past year or this past summer, where I really dedicated myself to it, has really been fueling me, and really been a beautiful thing that I think has been building up slowly, but very richly, I would say. For those who do follow me, I get a lot of engagement. I get a lot of consistent faces and names that I recognize and start to know. Several of my testers have tested several of my pieces. Instead of just one or two, I get people repeatedly coming for my tests. Despite that, I seem to have them one after another every month. So that has been very gratifying, and I can't express how grateful I am for that. And so I will be doing more documentation for specific aspects of what I'm working on. So, specific vlogs about working on the picture book, specific vlogs about my crochet pattern process, specific when I'm going to be working on the coloring pages. I'll probably document that. And then more where I do, okay, here is a balanced day where you see me do what I consider the three spheres of my life: my college, my freelance illustrating, and then my crochet business. So you will see kind of all three of those throughout the day, much like this one, honestly. I think this one was very not even, but it had all of those components in it that you can see me doing. So here I'm working on my school, for instance. I find it depends on the day, but it can help to break up the day so I don't feel anxious that I'm neglecting one of the spheres. And then other days I do a more focused effort on one of them because usually due to it really needing it, I either have a deadline for school or I know I've fallen so behind on the picture book that I really need to give a full day to really working on it. And it takes a long time for like the paint to dry and then come back to it. But so to make sure I stay focused on it, things of that sort. So that you will see various aspects of how I'm trying to build this. So if you are interested in following along with me for this journey, you can see if I actually achieve this goal that I've set for myself. And if you want to encourage me through it, I would be so grateful. And yeah, over on Instagram, I do constant polls, and people engage and help direct me for whether it be my thumbnails, whether it be showing whether you would be interested in this pattern, whether naming conventions or color choices. Sometimes you're even part of the design that I offer up. Which one should I work on first? I have these swatches. Which ones do you like? That is all fun, and that is something we've been having a lot of over on Instagram in my stories. So here's to 1 year working towards my goals and seeing if I can make this a success and something that I will be able to maintain and slowly build. But this is the year to make it happen as much as possible. So wish me luck and follow me if you want to see if I make it.